The next question is, are people of faith correctly portrayed in film and TV today?
I'll take a swing at that one. So one of the classes that I teach here is screenwriting, and something that I say to my students is that you cannot write a character well that you don't know well. So I'll say that it depends on who it is that's doing the depicting. When people of faith are the writers, the directors, the producers, that tends to have a more accurate portrayal. Whereas when people are not people of faith, then often that portrayal, I wouldn't say, is correctly portrayed.
And the only thing I'll add is Judaism is a minority religion, and there is a big spectrum of it. So seeing one version of Judaism on screen or whatever is not necessarily applicable to everyone. So some people find connections with certain parts of their faith and others don't. So that's where the difficulty lies for me.
I would add that I think this is really hard, and it's really hard to portray faith and belief in media, but also I think the word stereotypes is relevant here. The media thrives on stereotypes, for better, for worse, and I think as a Christian, as a believer, I have to, when I watch something that, makes me feel like ashamed, I have to admit that it came from something. It came from an experience that someone had. It came from reality. And so I think that there's just a lot of grace in that area, and also like a call to awareness about stereotypes, and just the fact that if you're pulling from an experience you've had, it may not be fully accurate.
I'm sure you have way more to offer in this than I do. But I mean, obviously, this is an incredibly broad question, right? People of faith is a very broad category of people. That could be people of any kind of faith, could be people with very little faith. That's a small part of their lives, to people for whom it's a huge part of their lives. And then also just the category of film and television, man, all over the map. So I do agree. I think stereotypes, I mean, they develop for a reason, and they're often portrayed in various ways in media. So I think it's probably a pretty hard thing to portray everyone's perspective on faith. There is, just for what it's worth, a version that I've enjoyed recently in film and television, a series called The Chosen, which is a representation of the life of Jesus that has been meaningful to me. And I think it has allowed us to see ancient religious people in a very real and approachable light, and I've enjoyed that. I think it's been very relatable for me. There are other things that I see that are religiously produced that are a bit uncomfortable or cringy for me or whatnot, not really my favorite, but I'm not in that world, so I don't have a lot of stones to throw. But yeah, there's so many different people to portray and so many different mediums to portray them in that it's a bit all over the map, so.
So I define caricature as a character that is devoid of a truthful inner life. And another thing that I go over in class is you want to create characters that are three-dimensional, organic, and real, be it your protagonist, your antagonist. And I think that's relevant to what we're discussing. So if you think about The Chosen, which you referenced, that is a show that is created by people of faith who have a knowledge of the Bible. So it is a more accurate / realistic portrayal. And now we do have outlets like Angel Studios, faith-based movies, for example. And if you look at those portrayals, there's a huge market for it, a huge audience. And those tend to be ones that I guess would make you feel less cringy. But then if you have someone who doesn't have a lot of interaction with people of faith or positive interactions with people of faith, then their portrayal can often be something that I would call a caricature, which I think is a weakness, be it a person of faith or not creating it, because the most effective characters are those that we feel are most real and most organic. I mean, even the most fun antagonists are those ones that are multidimensional, and that's part of what makes them so effective.